Joined live via Zoom in Israel by Ariel Cohen, the senior fellow of the Atlantic Council and the founder of the International Market Analysis. Good evening, and thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure.
So tell us more about the meeting between Vladimir Zelensky and Erdogan. It just wrapped up. What role or leverage can Erdogan play in potential peace between these warring countries?
Erdogan is in a unique situation because he talks to Putin. Turkey has a lot of business with Russia. Istanbul did not shut its airport for a lot of Russian traffic. And at the same time, Erdogan has a consistent position that the Crimea, the peninsula in the Black Sea, that the Russians seized from Ukraine in 2014 remains the sovereign Ukrainian territory, and they do not recognize the Russian claims in Ukraine. It appears that President Trump may have delegated to Erdogan some of the negotiating authority, and this is why Zelensky is talking to him in Ankara, while the Russian delegation and the Ukrainian delegation are arriving to Istanbul. But I must stress, Putin downgraded the level of his delegation. First, it was expected that Trump may come there today and open the talks together with Putin and Zelensky. Then it was clear that Putin is not going to come. Zelensky is not going to appear in Istanbul. And then last night, Putin yanked the foreign minister Lavrov and his foreign policy advisor Ushakov from the delegation. So that means that the same aide, former education minister Medinsky, is going to be representing Russia. That's the third level down, and the Ukrainians are going to be represented also by a lower level delegation. It also means that this is not the breakthrough talks that may lead to a quick ceasefire. I hope that it will lead to a longer ceasefire, as Ukraine and the Europeans want. And also, I want to stress that the United States is in a very sort of murky position. It is not unquestionably supporting Ukraine, and Ukraine is a weaker part here. And it appears that the United States may continue providing weapons to Ukraine only if these weapons are paid for. The Europeans will have to pay for these weapons because Ukraine is broke, or the Europeans will have to manufacture and provide their own weapons, which they have a very hard time doing. So in the long term, the vector is in favor of Russia and against Ukraine.
Do you think, though, I mean, with these delegations, do you think it kind of backs up the point Zelensky's making that Russia doesn't seem very serious? I mean, what's the point of these lower level, diplomats to meet if they don't have any kind of power or sway on the leaders of these countries?
I think to a great degree, this is the result of Trump pushing both sides, sending Mr. Witkoff to Moscow, and Witkoff goes to Moscow and says, "Oh, isn't the Kremlin just beautiful? Come on, this is the toughest negotiation probably since Vietnam."
Wow.
You have to have competence and experience in negotiating with the Russians, or for that matter, with the Iranians, who are very, very tough negotiators in both cases. And the Russians smell weakness. The Russians understand power. If the United States is not standing side by side with Europe and Ukraine, the negotiating position of Ukraine, even if you want peace, the negotiating position of one of the sides is weakened by the United States.
All right. Thank you very much for that explanation, Ariel Cohen, Senior Fellow of the Atlantic Council.